First of all, I'd like to thank Jess for that great introduction. Our opportunity agenda is all about fantastic young people like Jess getting fantastic experiences. As a Conservative, when I look out at where we've had the biggest impacts in government, there's one area that really stands out, and that's education. Through a lot of hard work, not least of it from teachers, we've come a very, very long way. Thanks to the reforms carried out by Michael Gove and Nicky Morgan, we've seen standards raised and 1.4 million more children in good or outstanding schools. In higher education, the global rankings now show our universities right at the very top, with record numbers of young people applying. And crucially, over the last 6.5 years, we've seen a real renaissance in apprenticeships, well over 2.5 million of them since 2010. So we've much to be proud of. And that's why, as Secretary of State for Education, I'm very clear that these reforms must continue. And I'm working with a great team of ministers. Nick Gibb, Edward Timpson, Robert Halfon, Caroline Dinage, Joe Johnson, and in the Lords, Lord Nash. And there's still an awful lot more work to do. As our Prime Minister set out, our party's mission is to make our country one that works for everyone, not just the privileged few, to give people control over the things that matter most in their lives. And education is at the heart of our ambition. It's how we make Britain a true meritocracy. To me, it's not just about the most disadvantaged families. It's more than that. Because all parents have their hopes and dreams for their children. But in practice, for most, they can never really take their eye off the day-to-day realities of everyday life. And what's it like for the children in those families? Well, I was one of them, growing up in Rotherham in the 80s. And when I look back to my childhood, all I wanted was a level playing field. I didn't expect any more, but I didn't think I should expect any less either, and neither did my parents. And nowhere was that more important to me than in my education. I absolutely loved going to school. Herringthorpe Primary, Oakwood Comprehensive, the Thomas Rotherham College. As the first comprehensive school-educated Secretary of State for Education, I want to say thank you to the teachers in all of those schools that opened up so many opportunities for me. We all remember our great teachers, and no other profession has the power to transform futures so much. My job, our job now, is to make sure that today's children, whatever their background, get the best start. And to me, that means 3 things: knowledge and skills, the right advice at the right time, and thirdly, great, challenging, life-shaping experiences. These are the building blocks to help young people be successful in their years ahead. And that's why we've put responsibility for early years and schools, further and higher education, adult skills and apprenticeships, all under one roof, in one department. And I think we've never had a better chance to make a difference for our children and young people. And look at what we're already doing. Doubling free childcare for parents of 3- and 4-year-olds. Creating 3 million new apprenticeships for young people. And for those who want to go to university, for the very first time, we've removed the historic cap on university places. Now, if universities want to offer a place to a student, and if they get the grades, they can go. And we're also opening up 500 brand new free schools by the end of 2020. Because having more good schools and more good school places for children is absolutely vital, and especially disadvantaged children. The academy reforms of the last 15 years are the right ones. But now we need to create more capacity in the system. We talk about postcode lotteries, but unless you can afford to move to the right area, education has been the ultimate postcode lottery. That's why our green paper is asking how we can create more great school places in more parts of the country, including selective places. I talked about a level playing field. Grammar schools have a track record of closing the attainment gap between children on free school meals and their better off classmates. That's because in grammars, those children on free school meals progress twice as fast as the other children, so the gap disappears. And 99% of grammars are rated good or outstanding. But in spite of this, Labour's approach to grammars is to close these schools down and conference its rank hypocrisy, because Labour ministers send their children to grammars too. And it's classic Labour. Do as I say, not as I do. Conservatives believe that we should support parental choice, not ignore it. Local areas who want more grammar places should be able to have them. And similarly, local areas who want to stick with the existing schools that they're happy with will be able to do that too. And unlike at present, we'll challenge grammars and selective schools to work much harder at getting more disadvantaged pupils through their doors. We'll challenge them to show that they can also improve the schools around them. And we all know that children develop at different speeds. So let's be flexible on which age children can go to grammars. So let's be clear. This is not about a return to the 11 plus. And our universities, our independent schools, and our faith schools will have their part to play too, working with other schools in the system. All of this is about more and better choices for parents. But I want us to improve choice for students too. We've got more young people going into higher education than ever before, and critically, more young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. I was the first person in my family to go to university, and I know how much it transformed my own prospects. But for many young people in our country, university won't be the path that they'll necessarily want to take. Like Jess, they might not want a purely academic route. They might prefer a technical one. Last year, 48% of our young people went to university, but 52% didn't. And for too long, the technical education they want hasn't been good enough. We've already set about changing this with our skills plan, and this will be a big focus for me as Secretary of State, because I'm really determined to put the quality of technical education on a par with the quality of our academic education. The parts we really need to pull together are the work of the further education colleges up and down the country, UTCs, the University Technical Colleges, who are doing so much work on skills, and also the huge extra investment now in apprenticeships from our biggest companies. Yes, it's about knowledge. Our reformed, stretching, rigorous, academic curriculum, it's now matching the best in the world. But it's also about skills, creative skills, problem solving, team working, the skills that employers, that British business needs. We're transforming our academic route. Now we must do the same for technical education and skills, because we need a world-class education system that works for everyone and for all of our young people. And all of this has at its heart a mission A mission to make ours a country where we've removed the barriers that stop people from being the best that they can be. The great meritocracy, Opportunity Britain, a levelled up Britain. It doesn't matter what you call it. This country's greatest asset is its people. So unlocking potential and levelling up opportunity in our country is Britain's greatest generational challenge. When everyone does even just a bit better, our country does a lot better. So the final part of what I want to say is focused on the children and the young people who are the very furthest away from having that level playing field on opportunity. Because as far as we've come on education, there are still more than 1 million children in schools that have been judged not good enough by Ofsted. That's 1 million children locked out of opportunity. We've seen lots of schools improve, not just through greater freedoms and a stronger curriculum, but through working together, the great schools helping others to get better too. But that's a lot harder when there aren't good schools around. And we need to change that. Earlier this year, the Social Mobility Commission released a report that identified places where educational attainment was poor, but also where job prospects were poor too. It called them social mobility cold spots. And getting real change could take a generation. And it's going to need a very different strategy to what we've done before. So today I'm announcing the first 6 opportunity areas where we'll trial a new approach. I talked about our education system needing to give children and young people 3 things: knowledge and skills, the right advice, and great life experiences. Opportunity areas will have a push on all of these 3. And our approach will be tailored to each area's needs. And that's how we'll really make a difference, and that's what opportunity areas will do. It's going to take teachers and schools, communities, and it's going to take business. For teachers and schools in these opportunity areas, there will be extra support, partnering them up with the schools and the teachers who've already raised standards and turned around schools elsewhere in the country. We'll focus on getting better careers advice by getting our Careers and Enterprise company to really focus on the children in these communities. And I'll work with great organisations like Young Enterprise and City Year, and with help from Karen Bradley and DCMS, we're going to make sure that young people in opportunity areas are plugged into the amazing experiences and volunteering through National Citizen Service. And of course, business. Business has an absolutely vital role because British business is the ultimate opportunity giver. I want to see businesses spotting and polishing up the talent of a new generation, the rough diamonds, to make sure that we unlock the talent of everyone in our country, but especially the children in these opportunity areas where it's most likely to be missed. That's why we're about to hear from Carolyn Fairbairn of the CBI. Business has such a great role to play, setting young people's sights high, broadening horizons. It's very hard to aim for an opportunity if you don't even know it's there. And that's why I'm so pleased that both the CBI and the Federation of Small Businesses have agreed to get behind these opportunity areas. And I want to see more business organisations and local enterprise partnerships involved with our work over the coming weeks and months, along with local councils and local communities. What I've talked about is very hard to do. And generational issues don't get fixed overnight. But we've got to make a start, and that's what these first opportunity areas are all about. As Conservatives, we know that maybe the most precious commodity in life is opportunity. These 1 million children who are locked out of opportunity, have just as much talent as any other children in our country. And we owe it to them and to ourselves to unlock it. And for our country, driving social mobility isn't just the right thing to do, it's absolutely essential if we're to be a success in today's world. Because however much uncertainty there is out there in the world, one thing is certain, and that's that Britain's going to have to be at the top of its game if we're going to succeed. And we'll only reach our country's potential when these children can reach theirs. And just because it's complicated, it doesn't mean it's beyond us as a country. It's not. And ours is a party that's always run towards these big generational issues, never away from them. This is what Britain should stand for, a country where anyone can succeed. And it's our Conservative Party that's going to level up Britain. Thank you. Thank you. Well done, Jess.